All right, Cone, about the SEC going away from divisions, we've talked about this, as I mentioned, not only recently, but even last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like the division model, I've never liked it. It doesn't make sense. And what are you going to do with Texas and Oklahoma? You're going to put one in the East, one in the West. Now, when it comes down to, the Alabama being able to play Auburn and things like that, that's obviously going to stay. There's ways to do that. And some teams are going to benefit from, playing certain rivals every year. And some teams, like Tennessee, congrats. One of your rivals is Vanderbilt. Yeah. You look at Auburn, it's Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah.
Great. Tennessee, it's just, it is at the end of the day, and it's the right move. And Greg Sankey, look, he doesn't say these things and then they don't happen. He is, when he says they're leaning into it, that means it's going to happen. The timeline is what I find interesting. Because you look at Texas and Oklahoma, when are they going to come over to the SEC? When are we going to see these changes? When will you scrap divisions? I think it'll all happen at once. Kind of like the transfer portal and NIL and all that other stuff happen at once. But I think it's the right move for the SEC. I don't like divisions, especially when you add more teams. And now you got to add more games. You need 9 in-conference games. But I'll say it again. The whole point, and I know the big money guys want the best matchups every week, but that's just not how it's going to work. The whole point of scheduling, in my opinion, inside of a conference is to have each team play each team home and away during a college career, and this can achieve that.
Okay, so it's interesting to hear you say you're more in favor of scrapping divisions the more teams that get added, because I can see it when there are fewer teams, like with what the Pac-12's doing, and I think the Big 12 as well. Right now you have 14 SEC teams. You're going to add Texas and Oklahoma very soon. That would give you 16. I'm just looking at the standings right now in the SEC. Obviously, Georgia's unbeaten. They beat Tennessee, who only has 1 loss. LSU in the West right now only has 1 loss, 1 conference loss. Can't count the one in Florida State to win the conference. So if you add Texas and Oklahoma, is there a situation where you could have several 1-loss teams and you're relying on a tiebreaker to go to the championship game?
Yes. I mean, that's what you're going to have to do. But, there's tiebreakers to win the division. I mean, you've had teams tie at the end of the day
but they all play
to
each
win
other.
division. They do play each other, that's true. But what I think is that at the whole crux of this thing, the whole goal of this thing is to get the 2 best teams to play each other at the end of the day. Well, if you have 6 teams in this division and 6 teams that, you may have 2 of the best teams in the same division. Like, to me, this gets closer to giving the best teams the chance to play each other at the end. It's not, Tennessee now is like, well, we got 1 loss, but the 1 loss is to Georgia, and they're the 2 best teams in the SEC, and we're not going to get in the SEC championship. I think it's going to help teams make the playoff in the SEC. Give more teams a chance to be able to make the playoff. But what I like the most about it, is if I'm a coach from a recruiting standpoint, every area of the SEC will get to see my team play. Because we have with divisions, when's the last time Texas A&M played Georgia? Like, you have teams that never play each other. They just never play each other. Now, I don't want to get into you'll have the 3 rivals and the 6 you play one year and then the 6 you play the next year. That's probably what they're going to do. But I want to see what Sankey and them come up with. But I do think this is the best way. And it just makes everybody a lot dumber when you say things like Auburn's in the West. They're literally in East Alabama, in the southeast part of the country, in the eastern United, close to the East Coast. Like, it's bad. Look, Missouri in the East? Does nobody have a map? In 1990, or when they added Missouri, and I know they added Missouri and Texas A&M, so you're probably going to look dumb either way, but it doesn't make you look smart. Let's just put it that way. If you're going to have that, then don't call it East and West. I think that's where they screwed up. You need to call it not legends and leaders, I can promise you that like the Big Ten did. But I do like this move. I think it's the right move. Hey, everybody, take a little time. It's almost Thanksgiving. Then it's Christmas. I don't know how y'all get down, but I tell you what, I'd love more than turkey or presents. Hit that subscribe button. Turn that notification bell on. Make sure you check out all the content.